Ancient Egypt, a civilization of intricate beauty and profound religious significance, stood for thousands of years as one of the world's earliest and most remarkable civilizations. From around 3100 BCE, when King Narmer, also known as Menes, united Upper and Lower Egypt, to its conquest by Alexander the Great in 332 BCE, Egypt evolved a sophisticated society along the lush banks of the Nile River. Welcome to the Chronicles of the Ages. Let's expand further on each aspect of ancient Egyptian civilization, exploring the nuances and intricacies that make it one of the most studied ancient cultures. The Nile River was the foundation upon which the ancient Egyptian civilization was built. Flowing over 6,000 kilometers, the Nile is one of the longest rivers in the world, and its predictable flooding schedule was crucial to the development of agriculture in this otherwise arid region. Each summer, the river flooded due to rains at its source, spreading rich, black silt across the plains. This natural irrigation and fertilization system allowed Egyptians to cultivate staples like wheat and flax, which not only fed a growing population, but also supported the production of goods like bread and linen cloth. Moreover, the Nile was not just a source of sustenance. It was the main artery of transportation and communication across the lengthy expanse of Egypt. Boats traveled up and down this water highway, carrying people, goods, and ideas, facilitating cultural exchange and economic prosperity. The river also acted as a natural defense against invaders, helping to protect the Egyptians from external threats and contributing to the stability necessary for their civilization to flourish. Ancient Egypt's historical timeline is marked by periods of strong central governance, interspersed with bouts of political instability and fragmentation. The Old Kingdom, often called the Age of the Pyramids, was Egypt's first golden age, during which power was consolidated under the pharaoh and the state apparatus was highly organized. The most enduring symbol of this period is the Pyramid of Giza, which showcases the Egyptians' engineering skills and the organizational capabilities of a centralized bureaucratic state. The Middle Kingdom followed a turbulent intermediate period and is characterized by a renaissance in art, literature, and public building projects. Pharaohs of this era, such as Senusret III and Amenemhat III, focused on projects that emphasized social welfare and stability, such as extensive irrigation works, which expanded the amount of arable land. Literary texts from this period also reflect a greater complexity and introspection, suggesting a maturation of thought and culture. The New Kingdom heralded the height of Egypt's power, with expansive military conquests and an influx of wealth that supported a flourishing of temple building and art, symbolized by the majestic temples at Karnak and Luxor. Religion permeated all aspects of Egyptian life and was marked by a rich pantheon of gods who were involved in the daily affairs of the human world. Each god had a specific role and domain. For instance, Anubis was associated with mummification and the afterlife, while Hathor was a symbol of motherhood and fertility. This multitude of gods reflects the Egyptians' attempts to comprehend and influence the world around them, seeing divine intervention in natural events from the flooding of the Nile to the movements of the stars. Moreover, the Egyptians believed in an eternal afterlife, where the dead lived on in a realm that mirrored earthly existence. This belief was so strong that they invested immense resources in the construction of tombs, the preservation of bodies through mummification, and the provision of statuary and goods for the deceased. The grand tombs and complex burial rituals exemplified in the Valley of the Kings were not just for royalty. They reflected a culture-wide concern for the afterlife that affected all social classes. The pharaoh was seen as the earthly embodiment of the divine, specifically of the god Horus, and later as the son of Ra, the sun god. This divine kingship was central to Egyptian identity and governance, imbuing the pharaoh with the authority to rule absolutely over the land and its people. The pharaoh was expected to maintain Ma'at, or cosmic order, through rituals and policies that ensured fertility, prosperity, and social harmony. Their failure to do so was thought to bring chaos and disorder, justifying the occasional overthrow of a dynasty or ruler. In practice, the pharaoh's divine status necessitated a complex governmental structure to administer the state. This bureaucracy was staffed by a class of educated scribes and officials, all operating within a hierarchy that extended from the royal palace down to local temple communities. Such an administration not only managed day-to-day affairs, but also executed massive state projects like pyramid construction, military expeditions, and the management of trade networks that extended across the Mediterranean and into Asia. At the top of the social pyramid were the nobility, who were closely connected to the pharaoh's court and served as administrators, high priests, and military leaders. Just below them were the skilled craftsmen and artisans who lived in state-sponsored communities and worked on the tombs and temples that dotted the Nile's banks. These artisans were highly skilled and relatively well off, given the importance of their work in religious and state functions. The majority of the population, however, were peasant farmers who toiled on the land under the oversight of local officials. They lived in simple homes made from mud bricks, cultivating the land to produce the food that sustained the entire society. Additionally, the Nile River influenced the daily routines of ancient Egyptians. The agricultural cycle dictated by the annual flooding shaped the work calendar, with planting and harvesting scheduled around the ebb and flow of the river. Social and religious festivities were also tied to the agricultural cycle, with major festivals often occurring during times of planting or harvesting, linking the spiritual and the practical aspects of Egyptian life. Egyptian art was characterized by adherence to strict rules that sought to convey order and stability, reflecting the societal and religious values of the time. Figures were depicted in a stylized manner, with a combination of profile and frontal views that aimed to represent the most recognizable aspects of each form. This style remained remarkably consistent over millennia, emphasizing the Egyptians' value of tradition over innovation in visual arts. In architecture, the Egyptians excelled in constructing massive stone buildings, the techniques of which were refined over generations. The use of stone not only ensured the durability of their structures, but also conveyed a sense of permanence and solidity. This material was pivotal in the construction of temples and tombs, which were designed to last an eternity, a testament to their ongoing religious significance and their role in securing a place in the afterlife for the deceased. Hieroglyphics, the sacred script of the Egyptians, was more than just a means of communication. It was an integral part of Egyptian culture, imbued with religious significance. Each symbol was not only a phonetic unit, but also a potent magical symbol, which is why scribes were highly respected in Egyptian society. Their ability to manipulate these symbols gave them a special status as holders of sacred knowledge and as mediators between the divine and the mundane worlds. Education in ancient Egypt was primarily aimed at training scribes and priests. These individuals underwent rigorous training in reading, writing, mathematics, and the rituals and administrative tasks necessary to maintain the functions of the state or temple. This education was conducted in temple schools or scribal schools, emphasizing memorization and practice, preparing students for a life of service to the state or the religious institutions. Egyptians are known for their contributions to various branches of science, including astronomy, mathematics, and medicine. Their knowledge of astronomy was essential not only for the agricultural calendar, but also for their religious and ceremonial life, as many of their temples and pyramids are aligned with celestial events such as solstices and equinoxes. Mathematics was similarly advanced, with Egyptians developing techniques in geometry that enabled them to construct their elaborate monuments and tombs with precise architectural plans. Their medical practices were equally advanced, with physicians using an extensive range of natural remedies derived from plants and minerals. Medical papyri, such as the Ebers papyrus, provide insight into the Egyptians' understanding of the human body and diseases. These documents list symptoms, diagnoses, and treatments for various ailments, indicating a sophisticated approach to health and medicine that combines empirical knowledge with spiritual healing practices. The influence of ancient Egypt extends far beyond its chronological and geographical boundaries. Its art, architectural principles, religious beliefs, and social organization had a profound impact on subsequent cultures, particularly the Greeks and Romans, who adopted and adapted many Egyptian concepts. The enduring fascination with Egypt's pharaohs, pyramids, and its mysterious scripts culminated in the modern field of Egyptology, which emerged following the rediscovery of ancient sites and artifacts. The decoding of hieroglyphics by Jean-François Champollion in the 19th century opened up the rich history of Egypt to the world, revealing a civilization of immense complexity and beauty. Today, the study of ancient Egypt continues to captivate scholars and the public alike, offering insights into human history and the development of complex societies. This ongoing interest ensures that the legacy of the pharaohs and their people remains a vital part of our global cultural heritage. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos on history.